So we have a great show for you coming up with Paul's Bang. He's getting his energy in.
Yeah.
I got my coffee. I think we got some good facts.
We have some great facts today. We have a great devotion from
Yep.
Brandon Nicholson. God is not done with you. I'm excited for today.
I'm excited. Even though it's Monday, I'm excited.
It is Monday. Have you noticed that Mondays are just different than Fridays?
Right. Well, rightfully
Not only
so.
a name.
Rightfully so, but yeah.
Because it's just, I don't know.
Maybe we'll turn that into a fun fact. But I'm Mark.
I'm Paul. And this is Beyond Limits.
You got it.
Boom.
Let's do it.
Beyond Limits Films present. A positive, motivating, real news, fun, interactive, prize-winning, gift-giving podcast. Start your mornings with the guys. Welcome to Beyond Limits.
Man, what a weekend.
What a weekend.
Let us know, first of all, let us know where you're watching from.
Yes.
Down below, comment. Let us know. Let us know if you've ever had a bang. But let us know where you're watching from, what you did this weekend. Maybe you're out of town. I know a bunch of my friends, people have gone down to Corolla for the weekend. The beach.
Corolla or Corolla?
Corolla.
Corolla.
It's not like the car. It's Corolla. It is Corolla.
Okay. Comment below.
It's Corolla, North Carolina.
Corolla.
We've made it.
Corolla.
What does the time say on
30 seconds in a show?
How long have we been live? We've been
2
live
minutes.
2 minutes, and you corrected me.
Well, I mean,
Twice. Y'all should have seen what it was like before we went live. We had a dispute over.
No, we're gonna talk about it later. Don't spoil it. Don't
I
spoil
don't
it.
even remember what it was.
Don't spoil it. We'll talk
Either
about
way,
it. It's one of the facts. So
really?
yes, it is.
Oh yeah. No, it's the day. Let us know down below where you're watching from. Is it Corolla or?
Turn your mic on.
Say it again.
Corolla.
No, that once again doesn't matter. That's Google. Google's from California,
So where
and she
did
doesn't
you learn
know.
the Corolla from?
Because I grew up there. Well, I
You
grew up
in Corolla.
I grew up
Oh, you grew up in
like
Tyrell County.
20 minutes away.
Oh wait, I didn't say that right. Terrell.
Terrell County. See? Type in. Do it.
The British.
It doesn't matter.
Corolla.
It's Corolla,
Yeah,
guys.
There it is.
Well,
All right.
y'all
Anyways,
sound weird. Anyway, so yeah, what'd you do this weekend, and where are you watching from? We want to see where everybody's watching from, so comment that down below. Did you have a
Yes.
good weekend?
I had a great weekend. Had some family over. Watched some football yesterday. Had a fire. Built my first fire in the fire pit for the season. Freaking great.
Was it
love
good?
Yes, man. I
I
love
love the smell.
I love the smell of fire, having a fire
Fall.
outside, and just fall rolling in, sitting outside with my cup of coffee, and having the windows open in the house, letting the fresh air come through. I mean, it's like Luke
that
Holmes
pumpkin
said,
spice?
and it is not pumpkin spice. It is just regular coffee. No cream, no sugar, regular coffee.
You drink regular coffee?
Yes.
Like just black?
Just black coffee. Yep. It's great.
Nah.
It's good.
I
But yeah,
can't do
so,
that.
you know, having the nice wind come through the windows, and you know, gotta have some rainbows in your life.
Was it brisk? The wind coming through?
It felt good.
I love this time of year. Fall.
Yes.
Fall is my favorite.
Yeah. It's
Like that's
right.
my favorite.
Right.
Is it your favorite?
Well, I like summer so much because there's so many outdoor activities and things to do and stuff like that. But fall is definitely like if it's not tied, it's a close second. I mean, it's just
I think that there's more to do. Obviously you can't go to the beach, but you got football. You're
Right.
outside for that. A lot of outdoor events. You know, Christmas is around the corner. You know, Thanksgiving is coming. I mean,
Right.
there's a lot happening in fall.
well, that's true. That's true.
Or
but
autumn.
North Carolina fall can be just as bad as summertime as far as heat and stuff
Yeah.
too. So
Yeah.
yeah, it is. But anyway,
That cool,
and
dry
then
air.
but it's hot outside, but it's still not hot enough, or the water's not warm enough to go to like the beach or pool and stuff like that. So
Right.
it's, you know,
You've presented your
my argument.
argument well.
Good.
And it's valid.
I have to say a little piece of bereavement for #RBG.
The justice.
The justice.
The
yeah.
justice.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Yep.
She was on for quite some time.
Quite some time.
She was the second. I'm looking at you for clarification, but I think she was the second female to be elected to Supreme Court judge.
I believe that's true.
That is true.
Yep.
And so yeah, it was quite a deal of time that she was on there.
That's it.
Clearly, yeah, Anyways, so
Well,
Yeah.
I want to share a quote though first.
share a
if that's
quote.
okay with you.
Well, it's going to be second because I've already introduced.
Oh,
That
okay.
she was. Go ahead.
No, it's all right. Oh yeah. Cool, great. But a friend shared this quote with me about RBG that she said, "I would like to be remembered as someone who used whatever talent she had to do her work to the very best of her ability."
Yeah.
And then so I reposted that, but someone shared that with me, so I shared it out and I want to share it with y'all today.
Oh.
And I think that's no matter what side of the aisle you land on, I think it's good advice, and take your talents and use them as best you can.
Don't be flaky.
Right.
Don't be flaky. Random facts. Hey, we've got a ton of facts, and these are really good. And a lot of these I didn't know. Fact number 1: did you know that there is no number before the number 1,000? There's no number before the number 1,000 that contains
There's literally 999 numbers before 1,000.
comma that contains the letter A. There is not a number before the number 1,000 that contains the letter A. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Do you now?
I know that now.
There you go.
There's a whole bunch of EIOs, U's, and Y's, but no A's, I guess, right?
Is that hard to do to subtract the A?
Subtract the A. It is hard.
E-I-O-U.
It is. I gotta go like A in my mind and then say the EIOU.
Yeah.
It sounds like you know that it was from a movie, but like every '90s song sounds like you're just singing syllables.
You remember
I
that?
remember that. That's the Hansons.
Do you know who Hanson is? It's like the one hit wonder people. Yeah. Anyways.
They had a couple hits, but Bop was definitely the most.
Yeah, I remember that came out. That was the jam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good. Did you know the entire state of Ohio in 1895 there were only 2 cars on the road, and the drivers of these 2 cars crashed into each other?
That's funny.
That's hilarious.
That is funny, and yeah.
In
that's
1895, so they had cars before 1895, or
Well,
in 1895.
clearly.
I thought the first. Well, no, I guess 1903 was the. How about 0.001? I don't. I said 0.001. That's not an A. There's no A in there.
ZERO.
Oh.
ZERO.
Well, that's the
Point.
that's the 1,000th. That's 1,000th of a 1. Is what that is.
That's the scientist in Bridget coming out.
It is. It is. No one likes donkeys going to school. I'm just gonna say that. She knows what I'm talking about.
All right. U.S. President Jimmy Carter. This is a random one. U.S. President Jimmy Carter was attacked by a giant swimming rabbit in 1979.
Wait.
U.S. President Jimmy Carter was attacked by a swimming rabbit
We don't have a picture of this.
in 1979.
I want a picture of this. A giant. So not only a swimming rabbit,
A giant
but
swimming rabbit.
So what clarifies a giant rabbit? Like it's just like big, like or really really big, like
Well, I'm
human
guessing.
size. Is it something I can't pick up?
Well, I doubt it's human size because that would be more newsworthy, I suppose.
Oh, and it says giant.
It wouldn't have been a random fact. It would have just been a fact.
I mean, giants are big. Look at
Well, maybe
Jack
it
the
was.
Beanstalk. The David and Goliath.
I kind of feel like we're getting away from the point that he was attacked by a swimming rabbit in 1979.
But was he encroaching on the rabbit's habitat?
Probably.
Therefore, he attacked the rabbit.
Well, the
Just-
rabbit was swimming, so let's go with probably not.
Do you know where giant rabbits live?
No.
Okay. So they could live
valid.
in and around water,
That's-
like a beaver does,
That's a valid point.
right?
Congratulations.
I'm just saying. I'm just trying to think outside the box. Here.
No, you're trying to beat me.
No.
How did you do that? Who are you? Look at
That
that
doesn't
rabbit.
Look, doesn't look very giant to me.
Well-
That looks more majestic. Like it's just a rabbit swimming along, minding its own business, and then Jimmy Carter comes and attacks. Right? I mean, that doesn't look like a very
You're so
intimidating rabbit.
stupid. Yeah, okay, so that rabbit that you're looking at right there, folks, attacked President Jimmy Carter in 1979.
That's what it says.
Ah.
So
That's
I
so
feel like this
weird.
was a publicity stunt.
Well, what, was he trying to eradicate the rabbits or something?
No, I
How
don't
does
know.
this
Who
play
knows?
out
I don't
for
know what
him?
Jimmy Carter was thinking back then. Who knows?
Apparently, he's thinking that he didn't want to get bit
Maybe-
by a rabbit.
Maybe it was the onset of his early Alzheimer's.
Well, maybe, but they got the picture. So, number.
Number whatever
Next.
number we're on.
Yeah.
Next.
It's you.
At Andrew Jackson's funeral, I'm assuming this is the Andrew Jackson that's on the $50 bill.
Yes.
Sweet. In 1845, his pet parrot had to be removed because it was swearing.
At the funeral.
Well,
So at his
maybe he
funeral,
didn't like his owner very much.
well, yeah. So they had to take Andrew Jackson's parrot out of the funeral
Mm-hmm.
because it was cursing.
You know,
during
that's
the
happened to me
funeral.
once.
Can you get that? What was it? I can't think
What?
of any words. Not drunk, but get that.
Parrot?
When we would remove people from
Oh,
bars when we
belligerent?
were caught, belligerent parrot out of here.
Yes.
Did you know that the hashtag symbol?
Oh, man. We moved on so fast.
Did you know that
It's
the
okay, I don't have
hashtag
anything more to
symbol
say about that. It's fine.
is not actually a hashtag? It's not called a hashtag or a pound symbol. This right here, it's not officially called the hashtag or pound symbol. It is called an octothorpe.
Octothorpe. We agree on the pronunciation of a word. That's
Yes.
good.
The octothorpe means 8 to refer to its points, so you have been doing it wrong your whole life. It is an octothorpe. It's an octothorpe, not a pound, not a hashtag, an octothorpe.
Octothorpe. Yeah, but it doesn't like fly off the tongue like a hashtag or pound.
Are you ready to set off some conspiracy theorists with this one?
Let's do it. I'm ready.
Yeah.
The fact: the U.S. government saved every public tweet from 2006 through 2017. Why would they do that?
If you tweeted something from 2006 to 2017, the government kept it and stored it.
That's it.
Every single tweet.
All of them?
That would be every single.
Now I gotta go back in my tweets and look and see what I tweeted.
Did you tweet? Like, were you a Twitter guy at all?
I don't think so. I'm still
Yeah.
not a Twitter guy.
I've got it.
I mean, I've got it.
So
but
you're a
I-
Twitter guy.
Well, but I don't never tweet or twit or no, I can't say that one.
Twit. So, Theodore Roosevelt had a pet hyena.
What?
Theodore Roosevelt had a pet hyena.
Wait, aren't those like dangerous?
Apparently. Not.
like the Lion King hyena thing, right?
Is that where y'all went? Y'all went to the Lion King together? Cool. That's
No.
neat. Good.
I didn't go to Lion King together. With who? Oh yeah. Oh, we went there together.
Right.
I get it. Not we went there together.
In your
The other
joint
there.
venture against me. Theodore Roosevelt had a pet hyena, which wasn't exactly weird because he also had a one-legged rooster, a badger, a pony, and a pet bear.
Are you sure it was a one-legged rooster though? Because roosters do stand on one leg.
They would have figured it out eventually.
I don't know.
Like, he only stands on one leg.
Have you ever owned a rooster?
Yes. Well,
Well-
Melissa's dad has
Okay.
roosters aplenty.
Oh, roosters are plenty.
Yeah.
I like it. I mean, does it mean you have good eggs?
They're miniature eggs. They're miniature roosters.
Miniature roosters,
Yes.
really?
Mm-hmm. It's a breed.
Oh, so
That's
they're
okay.
miniature eggs.
Yeah.
Do they taste good?
I've never eaten one of them.
Why not?
They do, but I don't. I don't know because I just don't.
Have you ever had eggs at their house?
No.
No? Nothing
don't
with
think
eggs in
so.
it. No dishes, no pastries, no cakes, no
You're
no
gonna name a whole
baking.
bunch of foods, and I'm just gonna deny it because I'm already committed to the fact that I hadn't eaten eggs at their house.
I'm gonna go with you probably have.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say it. You probably have. Comment below.
This next one is
It's good.
secretive.
It's secretive. Well, I don't know if it's secretive. I mean, because it's on the internet, so you gotta know it's true. All right.
What?
Good morning, y'all. To y'all today, Joe Mosley.
Lips. Read lips.
Yeah.
Jill. Hey, we love you. It's good to see you.
Yes, we do. It's good. It's good to read your comment anyway. I don't know if we can see her, but it's good to read her comment. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it.
Hey, Jill. Did you know that the CIA headquarters has its own Starbucks, but baristas do not write the names of the people that bought coffee on the cups? They don't. They make the coffee and they give it to them. They don't write their names. Oh, yeah. Somebody read. And they have to be escorted to and from the Starbucks when they leave their post. Obviously.
I wonder how Starbucks got that contract.
The CIA contract.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I mean, because once they're
Yeah,
oh, okay. Well, I guess
makes sense.
That makes sense.
that makes
Yeah.
sense.
I guess Dunkin' Donuts just isn't good enough for people anymore. It's okay. Whatever.
I like Dunkin'
Did you
Donuts.
know? I'm sorry.
I thought you said that you weren't a Dunkin' Donuts.
For donuts, I'm not a Dunkin' Donuts, but for coffee, yes.
You're a Krispy Kreme or are you a duck?
I'm a Krispy Kreme. For
Okay.
donuts, I'm a Krispy Kremer. for
Okay,
sure.
Yeah.
We talked about this the other day when the wife asked for a donut.
Yep.
But anyway, did you know today is National Pecan Day? Pecan Cookie Day, to be exact. It's National Pecan Cookie Day.
Today is National Pecan Day, folks.
No.
It is National Pecan Day. If you live in if you are watching this show and you are a Christian, then you say pecan.
Hey, you can't say that. That's not fair. You can't say that's not fair.
Today is National Pecan Day.
Yep. So the National Pecan Cookie is a delicious cookie eaten and enjoyed every morning, night, noon, any day that you eat a pecan cookie is enjoyable. Right?
Yeah, I don't eat a lot of pecans.
When they're in season, which is actually a fall thing, right?
They're not in season year round?
No.
Okay.
Because
I
they
didn't
have
know
to
that.
grow on the tree first during the summertime. The flowers turns to seeds, then it falls to the ground. If a squirrel don't get it, you can have it. Right.
Okay.
You gotta look after the squirrels. They have to eat first, right?
Yeah.
Because they go to hibernation for the winter.
Yeah.
So they have to store up all those nuts.
Okay.
Right?
Yep. Why do we have squirrels?
Because they're cute, cuddly, furry things. Oh,
They keep things clean.
right, deforestation.
What?
I said deforestation. Like if they didn't take the nuts off the ground, right? All the leaves and stuff would cover the nuts, and the cut nuts could then ferment. Ferment is it ferment? No, what's the word?
I don't know where you're
They
going.
can start to grow
Uh-huh.
and cause more trees, and then more trees. Right. Well, that's we chop them down because we need them, like toilet paper and stuff. You don't want to use toilet paper? I like to use toilet paper. I'm just saying. I don't know. I wasn't around by then.
So, yeah,
Sure. Let's do it.
National Pecan Day.
Mhm.
Do you say pecan or pecan?
I think we've had this discussion.
This is what we were talking about before we got on.
I'm going to I'm gonna turn my mic up.
No, that's
I'm gonna do
Google.
it.
Google was in California though.
So California people are wrong.
Oh, that's you in the background.
In the background.
So it's National Pecan Day. So
yeah.
pecan. See, look, Paul says pecan pie is better. You see,
I do. That is one of my favorite dishes for Thanksgiving.
pecan pie.
Mm-hmm.
What is it filled with?
Like brown sugar and like stuff like that. Stuff that's not good for you at
Yeah.
all.
They're on the top.
You can put them in. I've had it. Oh, it was
Oh.
a joke. She's trying to be funny. We haven't got your sarcasm yet, Macy. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I haven't got it yet, but I'll get it eventually.
You know what I like? I like today's devotion
Yes.
is really good. I think that a lot of people struggle with this. As I get it pulled up here, you've done stuff. We've done stuff. Everybody has done stuff that they're not proud of.
Right.
You know, and and it's easy to get. I don't want to say down on yourself, but get stuck.
Well, it's easy. Excuse me.
Yeah.
To find yourself deep in that rabbit hole.
Yes.
Right.
Of self-pity and self-loathing and look at what I've done.
I'm so deep. I can't. There's no light. There's no way for me to get out of here.
Yeah. And I mean, that's a scary road to be down.
Right.
When you don't understand the totality of the Bible and the purpose of Jesus Christ. When you get there, it's a scary place to be in. So what Brandon did with this devotion today is he wanted to bring it out with the Bible is filled. If you've never read the Bible, we encourage you to. But the Bible is filled with stories of people who have done stuff. It's almost as if it's on purpose that God isn't using these quote-unquote perfect people or people who were prideful. He uses people like Moses and David and Saul and Peter and all these people who had pasts which were not. I mean, you're not sticking them on the newspaper as your citizens of the year
Right.
in their before Jesus or before what they did for God. And and God uses them. So I see where Brandon's going with this one, and it is awesome. And it goes back to King David, so you probably know what we're going to talk about. But I love this. I love this devotion. It's going to be a good one. So
Let's do it.
yeah. This one is titled "Create in Me a Pure Heart." Create in me a pure heart. On December 3rd, 1967, Dr. Christian Bernard performed the very first heart transplant. That was a long time ago. Heart transplant in
Don't say that. We
1967.
have listeners that are probably born in around that time or alive then, and
60.
you're calling them old.
It's only 50 some.
You shouldn't say that.
It's only 50 some. He performed the very first heart transplant in 1967 in Cape Town, South Africa.
Nice.
The event worldwide caused media attention, obviously, and historic recognition. While the patient who received the first heart transplant had only lived for 13 days following this procedure, this one event would kickstart a medical procedure into the forefront of medicine. More and more research and better surgical techniques would quickly improve the outcomes and give new life to otherwise terminally ill patients. In 2019, more than 3,500 heart transplants were successfully performed in that year alone.
Wow.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. Heart transplants are undertaken when a diseased heart cannot be improved with other simpler surgical procedures or medicines. It is a last resort type of procedure that is done on a failing heart. Have you ever given any thought on the health of your own heart? No? We're not talking about the physical health of it. We're referring to the spiritual well-being of your heart. I'm not a doctor. He's not a doctor. I can't tell you anything about medical.
Yeah.
But we can speak about some spiritual stuff. For most of us, our hearts are diseased and in need of a transplant. That disease that has taken root in every center of our heart is sin. If left untreated, sin has the power to destroy the healthiest of hearts and take the rest of the body down with it.
Yeah.
King David, one of the most well-known characters in the Bible, asked for a heart transplant of sorts in Psalm 51. Let's look at what he said and see how we can apply it to our own lives.
So this is the 51st song, chapter 51, verse 10.
Yeah.
And say that 15 times. You should, if you watched the message yesterday when I preached, well, you couldn't, but the first. So we do 2 services, and the first service, it was just like that. Like, I couldn't say a word, and I didn't have, like, a bottle of water up there with me. For some reason, it didn't make it, so it was interesting. The second one was awesome. Hope y'all watched. So Psalm 51:10 says, "Create in me a pure heart, O Lord," or O God, "and renew a steadfast spirit within me." This psalm was written by David when he was in the midst of a major struggle with sin. It was written as a prayer in the form of a song from David to God, asking for forgiveness from his past sin. For a little historical context, David had just committed an awful sin. He had an inappropriate relationship with another man's wife named Bathsheba, and she became pregnant. Bathsheba's husband, Uriah, was off fighting a war at the time. And to try and cover this up, David ordered Uriah to come back home.
He wanted Uriah and Bathsheba. I always trip over that one.
Bathsheba
To do what husbands and wives do and pass his pregnancy off as his own. This attempt failed, and so David would ultimately send Uriah back to the front lines where the fighting was the fiercest, and his army was ordered to abandon Uriah during the fighting, which resulted in Uriah's death. David essentially ordered the execution of an innocent man. David was a murderer. David's heart had become corrupted and diseased with sin. We challenge you to read the full account of the story in 2 Samuel 11. When you do, pay close attention to see how and what may seem like a small, inconspicuous sin at first can snowball into a full-blown disaster.
Yeah, and that's an incredible story just to read how it started from the very beginning to the end. So definitely, if you want to research and go into that story specifically and to read that, the detailed account of all that train wreck, that is in 2 Samuel chapter 11. You can go back and read that. Early on in David's life, God had called him a man after his own heart. Sin has an awful way of taking something beautiful, pure, and destroying it. That's where we find David at the time of this psalm. David has recognized his sin and recognized that it has invaded his heart. Throughout Psalm 51, he continually confesses his sin and begs for mercy and forgiveness. When we reach verse 10, that's where we read the request from David. Create in me a pure heart, O God. The Hebrew word for create here, or used here, is the same word that is used for create in Genesis chapter 1. As in, God created the heavens and the earth. So David is not asking for God to just change his heart. He is asking for a new heart altogether. He is asking for a total transplant to remove the old, diseased heart and replace it with a new, pure heart.
This should be our prayer and request too. When sin has taken root in our hearts, small conservative measures are often not enough to correct the problem. These measures often involve us trying to fix things on our own. However, when our heart is corrupted with sin, we need a major overhaul. We need a transplant from God. He can and will remove the old heart and replace it with the new one. This will probably not be a one-time thing. Sin can often find its way back in, so asking God to create a new heart may need to be a continual request. The best part is God will continually hear you and give you the new heart that you desire every time that you request it.
Yeah, this spiritual heart transplant that God provides gives you a new perspective and a newfound love for God and others. But this creation of a new heart begins with forgiveness. God sees your sin and knows all of those deep, dark secrets, the shame, the regret, the guilt. When we ask God for the new pure heart, we must confess that sin to Him and know that that sin is not right. We must repent. When we do this, the Bible says that God is faithful and just and will forgive us our sins and purify us from all unrighteousness, and that's in 1 John 1:19.
No matter how bad the sin, no matter how dirty you may feel, and no matter how full of shame your heart is, God will forgive you for your past mistakes. His Son already purchased your forgiveness on the cross. It's been done. All you have to do is ask. When you do, God can come in and give you a new heart like David. Despite all of his mistakes, God did forgive David and gave him a pure heart. He was still able to use David to do a lot of wonderful things for the people of Israel. God will do the same for us too.
Yeah, so let's close out with verses 1 and 2 from Psalms 51. If you are struggling with sin, if you're watching this morning, you're like, man, it seems like a continuous road. It seems like circles. Seems like I'm spinning my wheels. If this is something that you struggle with, then go over these verses. Read these verses. Apply these verses. The Bible will do you no good if you don't apply it. If you're just reading it like any other book, it's not going to help you. You have to apply it. These verses say, have mercy on me, O God, according to your unfailing love, according to your great compassion. Blot out my transgressions, wash away my iniquity, and cleanse me from my sin. So I think we should start, and the devotion, we end the devotion or end the show typically with the devotion, but I think we should start with this. A lot of people are fearful of going to church because they believe that the church is filled with perfect people, like people who just, obviously not perfect, but people who feel they're better than us. The church is a place for sinners to go and be with God, be with the person who saved them. And that's what the church is. The writer of 70% of the New Testament was the Apostle Paul. God used him to write the majority of the New Testament. Having said that, Paul himself says that he still struggled with sin. Even as he's writing it, he uses it in the present tense form, that he still struggled with sin, with the flesh, which is huge, because it's, I believe that God purposefully puts these things in the Bible so that when we fail, we can look back and say, man, even though Paul failed, look at what God still was able to use him for.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense, but it is. The Bible is filled with people who did stuff that, when looking back, when they get the wisdom, that you get with time and age, and they look back and they're like, this is, man, This is rough stuff I did in my past. And then you can see that God still uses them. We want y'all to know that no matter what you have done, God can and still and wants to use you so much.
Right.
So
I had a great wise man once tell me one of the things that he gets out of attending service on whatever day you go is that from the point that you leave the church or your gathering of people, you're gonna sin the next week.
Yep.
I mean, those next 7 days, 6 days, you're gonna sin. You're gonna do something sinful, right?
Yep.
And he knows it. Everyone knows it, right? And we're not all perfect. So when he goes, that's him cleansing his sin, cleansing his soul, right, of the sin in God's house, right? And that's kind of what he looks forward to all week. Not that he goes out and purposely sins,
right.
Yep. But he knows he's going to happen, but he knows that in 6 days, I've got a place where I can go, and it's going to be all washed away.
Yeah.
And that's one of his purposes of going to attend service and things like that.
Yeah.
And so just, drumming up more people to, to kind of look at that mindset. Even if it's 6 days, if it's 6 weeks, 6 months, just know that you have a place to go to that you can, because some people need that. Some people just can't say, well, I just can't, I don't feel like I can get cleansed if I just ask for it, in my house or wherever driving to work, which you can, by all means. You very well can. You can do it right now. If you're driving to work right now, you're sitting in the office, you can ask for God to cleanse your soul right now, and he will do it. It's that simple.
Can we high five?
You can high five. But if you need that place to go to, then seek out and go.
Yeah.
Right? Even if it's a gathering of other like-minded Christians. It doesn't have to be necessarily God's house in a church, but it can be any gathering that you go to, right? I mean, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So it's like obviously you watch football.
Right.
Now, I've never and there might be a few out there, but if you watch football and you actively the stats, the players, who's getting transferred from team to team, and then somebody comes up to you and says, "Hey, man, I've got tickets to the Super Bowl that the Pats are playing in." You would say, "Okay, looks like I'm going to the Super Bowl then." If that was an invite, right?
Right.
And a lot of people, they say, "You know what? I'm a Christian, but I don't want to be around other Christians," and then they'll throw some excuse out there. And to me, that I don't get that at all. I really don't get that at all, because if I'm an avid watcher of baseball or football, I can't wait to be around other people who are avid watchers of baseball and football. Now, some of them are going to look absolutely ludicrous when they're out there in their blue face paint or stuff, but that's fine. They're in it and they love the game, they love the team, and I'm surrounded, and that is a perfect environment. Being a Christian, going into the house of God where you are surrounded with other people who have sinned, but they know that they serve a perfect God, and you get to corporately serve this God together. There's not a better feeling, I think, on our side, but at the same time, I think that God looks down at his children joining together to worship him, and it's pleasing. It is pleasing in his sight to see that.
Oh yeah.
And
I think you're making a perfect analogy, and I thought you were going to go there, but I'll go there for you.
Go there.
But people see that as that's just something people do. Go to sporting events. They're around like-minded people, and it's great. It doesn't matter if you have the person who's colored all in different colors out there wearing no shirt and it's 0-degree weather.
I know what you're
right?
doing. Go. Yes.
Right. But people are afraid to be that person in church, right? You know where I was going with it.
I thought about pushing you off your chair.
Don't do that.
That's really good.
I need to put a
keep
pad
going.
in
Keep
right.
going with that though.
So, don't be afraid to be that person.
Yes.
Right. You don't have to be perfect to go to church. There should be no judgment there.
Yes.
If there is judgment there, then maybe that's not the right place for you. Right. So go out and just be your imperfect self, because that's what we are. We are imperfect. Yes. And there is one person who was perfect who walked this earth, and he died for our sins. He died for that we can be imperfect. So go out there, be imperfect, live your life, but know that there's something that you can say, that you can do to cleanse your life, cleanse your soul, and again, go to that church with that imperfect self, because everyone else sitting next to you is the same exact way as you.
Yeah.
Right? And if they're passing judgment again on you, then that's not the place you need to be. You need to be somewhere where they're not going to pass judgment, somewhere where they're going to accept that you are imperfect and say, look, I don't care. Bring, I can't think of the quote off the top of my head, but when it says bring your Gentiles, bring your Gosh darn it, who was it? Anyway, I can't. I'll think of it later.
Well, you will as soon as the show's
As
over.
soon as the show's over. Yep. Anyways, bring everybody. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter where you come from.
Yep.
Bring them to my house, and I will cleanse their soul.
The church is a
Right.
place for imperfect people to meet a perfect God. That's it. Now, there's two phrases that I want y'all to know when you leave here, and this will explain it all. And it covers the Christian life: justification and sanctification. Two completely different things. When Jesus Christ saves you, when you ask Jesus Christ for forgiveness, when you say, "I want to be a Christ follower," then you are at that moment justified. That means your sins are washed. That means your past, present, future sins, they are washed clean by the blood of Jesus Christ. Justified. Sanctified is that growth. Okay, now that you are clean, that progression towards Jesus Christ, where you're not just stagnant. You're not saying, "Okay, I'm saved, good, now I couldn't care any less." That's not happening. Sanctification is that continual growing so that you look like Jesus Christ. And when you mess up, here's the perfect analogy. You ready for
I'm
this?
ready. Let's do it.
We've got kids now.
Yep.
Amelia is going to eventually start walking.
Yep.
That's
Pretty
going to
soon.
happen. Now, you are a loving father because clearly you cry. You have cried when you've mowed just thinking about Amelia, right?
Right. Thanks for bringing it up again.
That was a
Yeah, that's
serious
great.
moment.
I like it.
All right, but you with all your heart, you love Amelia.
100%.
Right. Now, what kind of father would you be when she stands up? Because she's not going to walk perfectly at first, right?
Mhm.
So you're going to stand her there, and she's going to hold on to something, right? And then you're going to see her start to let go, and then she's going to grab back hold, and then she's going to let go. Then she's going to right,
Mhm.
but then she's going to take a step,
Right.
right? And then she's going to waddle a little bit, and then she's going to fall. What kind of father would you be if, when she fell, you pointed at her, you laughed at her, you mocked her, you were like, "You're so stupid. How in the world could you do that? You can't even take 2 steps." You'd be a horrible father.
Right.
How much greater is God a father than we are? So we look at this spiritual walk.
Right.
And it's a spiritual walk. When we get to heaven one day, folks, we're going to look back on our life and go, "Man, God used us and saved us from so many things that we wanted at the time, and at the time it looked really good, but look what he saved us from. But more importantly, look how many times I failed him, and he just picked me up, dusted me off, and said, 'You know what? Let's get back to it. Let's do it. Let's do this. Let's do this.'" He's an encouraging father.
Right.
He is such a far greater father than Paul Armstrong, obviously, or any other father out there. To think that when you fall, he would make fun, ridicule, and just put you down is absolutely ludicrous. It is. There's nothing that you have done in your life that Jesus Christ cannot cover with his blood. There's not.
Yep.
And if
Not
you're a
one
Christian
thing.
and you're like, "Man, but yet, Paul, you don't understand. I'm a Christian and I've still sinned."
Welcome to the club.
Okay, so did the Apostle Paul, and God used him. Okay, the thing is, don't get stuck in the sin. Recognize it, and it might be something that is habitual, and you are really trying to get out of. Maybe it is drug use, and that is some sincerely hard stuff to get out of, and you're going to probably need help for that. Don't get stuck and say, "You know what? Well, I'm sorry for it," and then go back to the same spot. Seek help. Get help for it. Take that step of faith. Get help for whatever that addiction is or whatever. But don't think for a second that Jesus Christ cannot forgive whatever you have or are going to do.
Mm-hmm.
The baby walking, man, that was a good
That's
analogy.
Good. I like that. I like how you brought that home.
was
That was
good.
good. I like that.
I
I really do. God, we're just full of analogies today.
We are.
You know what? It started off like just a kind of Monday morning, right?
But then you get all fired up.
And then we
with this
get
stuff.
we read that devotion, we go through the facts,
Brandon,
and we just get fired up.
I do.
Man, what a way to start the week! What a way to start the week.
Listen.
God, that was awesome.
I'm gonna tell you. Hey Marcos.
That's my buddy Mark. That's my buddy Mark Gerhardt.
Yeah. So, and something that we have consciously done, we're going to have some, I put out a video the other day and it got, I don't know, it was like 250 shares in the first 5 hours. It was a joke of somebody. Anyways, But something we're gonna do with the show, and we talked about, and we're gonna be purposeful with Beyond Limits now to do, is that we're just gonna have fun with it. We're not gonna worry about numbers. We're not gonna worry about anything. We are gonna be two guys, just like we were in the cop cars, just talking about fun,
That's it.
talking about things. He's probably gonna try and correct me over a bunch of stuff because that's
what I do.
who he is.
That's who I am.
At his core,
At my
that is
core.
who he is.
That's
He
my
has
wife.
to correct me on everything. And now Macy's joined in the fun, so that's going to be great.
Well, it is fun. It's fun when you have like someone like two people gang up on one.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Well, that's called bullying, folks. Y'all need to seek help. But, you know, we love you guys. We're going to give you something that we're always going to give you. We're going to give you, whether it's a fun fact or a bunch of random facts, you're going to leave here knowing something you probably didn't know before you came in, and we're going to give you a devotion. We want to motivate you, especially, you know, when it doesn't really matter if you're a Christ follower or not. We want you to be a Christ follower, and ultimately that is our goal, to push you to that. But we want you to not live life depressed and, you know, just walking around with your head in the sand like you don't have something to live for, because you do. And if you think you don't, man, you have missed the whole point, okay?
That's it. I hope we fired you up this Monday morning.
Just like
Paul
everything
Etterling
else.
says that Macy needs a mic. She does have a mic. She just refuses to turn it on.
I wish I could turn the camera right now. Macy doesn't need it. She's got her own dedicated camera, her own dedicated mic. She just don't like being on screen.
But she's the producer, so she
or
gets to
mic.
click and clack the different
Yes, so
buttons.
she chooses who's on camera and
True.
mic.
That's it. But anyway,
Yeah.
I hope we fired you up Monday morning. Hope we got the week started off a little bit better. I know mine is now better that I've gone through this today and
Is it?
heard the devotion and had our different.
You want a hug?
Yeah, we can hug off. We can
Okay.
hug off screen.
Is your mic on? Can you turn it on and just say, hey, so they can hear your voice for
Just
the
so
first
they know
time?
we're not lying.
This is Macy.
It's great.
So that's Macy. This is Macy. Yeah, that's all you're going to get. Then
That's
you'll
it.
hear her.
And that's it. Now she's muted again.
And now she just reaches up and mute her. So that is Macy. She runs the everything.
Yep. On the behind
I
the scenes.
almost listed it, and she just runs
All the behind
everything.
the scenes. It's great.
Yeah. So cool. We love you guys.
We do. We love you guys. Have a great week. We'll see you again Friday morning.
We'll see you Friday morning.
I am Mark.
He is.
And this is.
I'm Paul.
And this is.
Beyond.